All right, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to go ahead and get started here. We've had a couple people say when we're starting, and we are going to start right now. Before we do, I just want to make sure that everybody can see the screen okay. You should see a Wikipedia screen here on meteorology. If you can see that, that's great. You should also be able to hear my voice okay. If you can let me know that you can see, perfect, Jared, awesome. Sounds like everything's working. You guys can see it. All right, good deal. So that's great. Just a couple little caveats before we get started here. So we are going to be recording this webinar, and we're going to be posting it on the Photo Life later this week. And if there's questions that are asked during the webinar that we don't have immediate answers to, we're going to be following up on the forums with answers. And then we will also just want to let everybody know, I think most of the users that we have on here are ShootQ users, but Nimbus is available for free for all ShootQ users. So if you aren't a member yet, you can look into the memberships and I'll provide a link for you. And then also if you are a pro level member at Pictage, you get a ShootQ account for free with your membership. So if you haven't set that up yet, we'll definitely want to get you squared away with that. Those are just a couple things to get us started, and I'll share those links in just a moment. But I am super excited about today. Obviously, Nimbus has been a long time coming, and for those of you that haven't seen it yet today, or yet before today, you're going to learn a whole lot of new information. My name is Katie Van Buren, and I'm a trainer here at Pictage. Today, David Wolf is going to teach you what Nimbus is, how to use it, and what the Nimbus platform can hold for the future of photographers. It's just going to change everything. And David Wolf is the owner of Wolf Snap Designs. If you haven't checked out his website yet, I'll also share that with you. He is a Nimbus customization launch partner, and he has a wealth of information that he's going to share with you today. So without further ado, I would like to introduce David.
Great. All right. So basically, what we're going to do is, thank you, Katie, by the way. So first of all, thank you everyone for coming to this great meteorology webinar. So we're going to be learning all about the Nimbus cloud system and how it interacts with the weather. Okay, maybe not. But Nimbus, okay, so that's my little joke of the webinar. So we have Nimbus clouds, causes precipitation. Okay. First of all, before I start, I want to make sure, can everyone hear me fine? If everyone can just kind of make it rain up here. Okay. So, assuming everyone can hear me, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through a little bit of ShootQ. We're going to look at some sites that have used ShootQ, and I'm going to go over a couple of, some basic stuff about ShootQ, and we're going to dip our toes a little bit into some of the stuff that you can do yourself to customize Nimbus. So basically, first thing is, as Katie said, Nimbus is a part of ShootQ. So if you are a member of ShootQ, you're going to have access to Nimbus. And it actually goes a little bit beyond that. If you have a hub account on Nimbus, on ShootQ, where you have multiple brands, you can actually get multiple Nimbus sites, and those are all included. So you can have literally a separate site for each of your different brands, and that's something that's, frankly, really just amazing. Because what that essentially means is that for one price, you can have, many, many different websites, and that all feed people completely independently of each other into the one account. And it's something really, really cool. Something also very unique in the industry that I know of. So this is your standard ShootQ. The question that I keep hearing a lot is, how do I get around this, and how do I get to the Nimbus and go to the themes and stuff like that? And the trick is this button up in the top left, the atrium button. And when you click that, you're going to be able to choose your different apps. So from ShootQ, you can go over to Nimbus and, of course, Pictage. So we're just going to go over to Nimbus, and as you can see, here is my Nimbus dashboard. And in here, for those of you that are kind of familiar with WordPress, this is going to look very, very similar. So you're going to have the idea of posts. There are pages squirreled away in the settings tab over here. And what pages are kind of like what they sound. So that's where you're going to put the about us information, or you're going to put the information about, maybe tips and tricks for getting ready before the shoot, or whatever you want to put there. So those are the pages. There's also media, so you can create galleries. you can see we have a cute little picture of Dora there, and we also have another cute picture of Bonnie. So we can create different galleries, and we can add photos to this. But not just. But what's nice with Nimbus is, unlike your existing website where we always have to be uploading new photos, I can actually go ahead and let's see, Pictage demo. I can actually go ahead and import photos from all sorts of other places. So I can actually import directly from Pictage. So if you have an event on Pictage, we can import that. I can, of course, upload from my own computer. I can also import from Flickr, Instagram, and there's also a bunch of other ones that I just don't have set up, but they include Vimeo, and, well, in fact, let me show you. Okay, so, okay. So we can actually import from YouTube, Vimeo, and a couple others as well. We can also import from WordPress. Okay, so the other nice thing, and this is also very unique, if you look at a lot of the other photo hosting sites, while you can upload video and you can upload photos, you can't upload, let's say, a PDF document. With Nimbus, you can. So we can actually go over to Files, and we can choose to upload a PDF document, or we can upload a TIFF. You know, if we've created some template for a bride to use, for example. So we can upload all sorts of really cool things that normally you wouldn't think that you'd be able to upload to a photo host. Okay, so what is Nimbus? We've talked about all these features. I've shown you a couple things, but ultimately, what is Nimbus? And no, Nimbus really it is a cloud, but and it's actually a clever word because a lot of you have probably heard the word cloud being bantered around. You know, cloud computing. There's iCloud by Apple. Nimbus is, of course, a type of a cloud, but ultimately, what it is, what a cloud-based website or cloud computing or cloud platform is something that's being hosted for you in the internet. So you don't have to worry about the hosting or the how does it work aspect. All you do is you use it. And Nimbus is hosted in that way. There is no hosting required. There are no other things that you need to do. Literally all you need to do is just log in and start using it. And it's a totally hosted platform. So it's a very clever name, if you think about it, simply because the way Nimbus works. So what Nimbus ultimately is a blog platform. It's a photo hosting platform. It's a customer relationship platform. And all of those things get pulled together under one place. So we know about the photo hosting, we know about the website, we know about ShootQ. And essentially, what each one of those things is going to let us do is it's going to, rather than in the past where we've had a WordPress site for a website, we've had a photo host, you know, like Flickr or something like that, where we're putting our photos on so people can just navigate around them. We might have had, you know, of course, we'll have ShootQ because that's where we're getting our customers' contact information. We have all these different myriad of places for people to go, and ultimately Nimbus is an attempt to bring all that under one place. So it's easy to use, it's highly functional, and ultimately what it's going to be is going to be very easy for you to do. So you upload your photos one time to Pictage, one time to Nimbus, and you can use it in your blog, you can use it on your galleries, you can use it in all sorts of different places. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick preview. So of course this is using the crystallized theme, and this is actually somebody we're actually going to be working with. We're going to be customizing his site. His name is Bill, and Bill started out with crystallized, and you can see that we have an About Photo BS, and that's, you know, a page. We have our blogs, we have our galleries. Our contact form, of course, again, goes in with ShootQ, and client login gives people very quick and easy access to the ShootQ backend. Okay, so just as we're going on here, I'm going to be taking questions kind of in line as it's appropriate. So I do have a question about, do we need a blog anymore? basically, she's saying that her clients go to Facebook a lot more than the blog anyways. Um, and the reality is that I think blogs are important. And the reason the blogs are important is because when somebody searches Google and they try to find your business, ultimately your website will come up. Finding an actual Facebook site, if you're already on Facebook and you're searching for somebody that you've already heard of, for example, your clients could find you on Facebook, but somebody that you've never done business with and doesn't actually know your name, they just know a geographic location where they want to find somebody, that's actually going to be where your own website and your own blog comes in. Okay. So Nimbus really will replace, your existing WordPress site. It will replace, if you, let's say you have a Zenfolio or you have a SmugMug site to show off galleries, that will actually replace all of those. And with the integration with Pictage, you're going to be able to get that whole marketing aspect as well, on the site. So things are going to be tightly, tied together. Now, the nice thing is when we do import from WordPress, like if you have an existing WordPress site, Nimbus will import that. And one of the cool things is that you can actually do, they're called custom 301 redirects, but it's essentially, they've called a page alias. So essentially what's going to happen is, let's say your old site, you have a URL of wolfsnap.com/gallery, photo gallery, okay? And on Nimbus, maybe it's called something different. So we can actually create a page alias. So it could be, photo gallery would actually go over to our Bonnie gallery. So that way, and the reason for doing that and the benefit of that is that what's going to happen is that when Google sees that link, and when, let's say you have links on, web forums or you have links on Google, those old links will follow you onto the new platform. So you're not going to lose any old links or any old forum posts or anything like that, because you're actually able to create custom aliases. Okay. SEO, as far as the SEO, okay. So let's see. Nimbus will do a lot of the SEO for you. So I mean, there's certain things that you can do as a photographer to make it interesting for Google, but ultimately, and here's our little secret of the hour as far as SEO goes. Really, almost everything you've ever heard about SEO probably is not 100% true. The biggest impact on SEO is not keyword density. It's not how many meta tags you can put in. It's all about inbound links, getting people to link to you from good sites. So that's where it comes from. So you need to do things that are going to help, but it's not really. Ultimately, you need to be working on. You need to be working on getting good reciprocal links and people linking to your site and talking about your site, and that's actually what makes the biggest difference. But Nimbus will do a lot by itself on that front. Okay, so one person said they've actually had some problems importing from WordPress to Nimbus. This is, I sort of hate to say it, but this is still sort of a 1.0 product. So there are going to be things that may not work 100% correctly, but I can tell you I've been working with the programming team. They're on the job, and so if you do see anything that is broken or things that aren't working correctly, definitely let somebody know, and you should see it resolved pretty quick. Okay, so what I want to show you, and the other thing, just before I do this, if you do have problems, I know there is a ShootQ forum, and there's also the Pictage forum. And if you're not on there already, the Pictage forums, I think, are a great resource. And you can also go over, and that's at forums.pictage.com. Okay. And then the other really great resource is, if we go over to the help button in the top right of Nimbus or of ShootQ, that will take us over to the ShootQ and Nimbus forums. And these are both two really great places to go if you do need some easy help. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about customizing. Okay, so okay, so essentially, when we're looking at the Nimbus sites, we can actually, very easily go and change themes. Go into setting, and then if we go over to themes, you can see there's actually some built-in themes. So Crystallized is, I think, most people's favorite right now. There is Cumulus Stratus, and they're all clever. Again, most of them are cleverly named after cloud formations. And you can also email directly to nimbus@shootq.com if you're having trouble. Okay. So let's say, and just for fun, we're going to go ahead and choose Crystallized. Now, in Crystallized, let me see. Okay. So if we choose Crystallized, you can actually see at the bottom below, we can change background border colors, we can change content, we can change inside the ShootQ client, we can add logos, or the header backgrounds. And this is all, literally all we would need to do. If, for example, we wanted to change one of these settings, we would actually just be able to click, and if you want to type in a color code, like let's say you know what it is, you can just type it in. Okay. Alternatively, we can use this color selector over here, and we can actually just choose a color. So if I want my background to be this lovely magenta color, we can do that. Now, going beyond that, let me go ahead and publish changes to Crystallized. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit more in depth here. Okay, so let's refresh this. So here is my home page. I'm going to reset the colors. And over here, the reset this theme. If you do put some hideous, disgusting color, you can just click reset and republish it. So let's refresh this again. Okay, so you can see, here we go. We have just a standard crystallized site. Now let's say we want to do something on here, but we don't want a part of it. For example, we don't want, on the About Us page, we don't want the word About Us. Okay? Or, we don't want this stuff over here. Okay? So we can actually embed custom CSS. And if you know what you're doing, this might go over some people's heads. If it does, kind of bear with me a little bit. You can ask about this in the forums as well. But just quickly, if you're using, I'm using Chrome. So if you wanted to, as an example, figure out how to turn this off, what we would do is we would actually right-click, and we can actually go down to Inspect Element. Okay? And that's going to bring up this really scary console. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a look, and we can see as we hover through each one of these divs, we can see that recent posts is actually what this is. So if I wanted to turn that off, we could actually go over to, let me click over here, go to Nimbus. We could actually edit the About Us page. And by clicking on this source button, okay, so I'm in the edit page screen, I'm going to click on source. And in here, you can actually see that there's HTML. So again, if you know what you're doing with CSS, we can actually add a style tag. And let's go back. We can see that it's a div class recent-posts. So we're going to say class recent posts. Put our little curly braces. Display none. Okay. And we have to make sure that we close our style tag. Okay. Now, if I save it, if I'm good, which is entirely possible, I screwed something up. Oh, works. We can see that that area on the right-hand side is now gone. Now, that's something really, really simple. But we can do all sorts of other things. We can expand the About Us page. So again, if we go back to Inspect Element, we can actually see that this is content. It's also, MV page. But if you take a look, we can see div content. has a width of 350 pixels, which is what this is. So if we change that up, we can change that to 850 pixels. Okay, and now we've stretched it across. So you're going to be able to do minor changes like what I'm showing you by yourself. Okay, and if we wanted to just put that in, in the code itself, again, we would just go back to pages and edit the CSS on that page. Okay, and specifying this time that the class content should be 850 pixels as a width. Okay, I know that's not going to make a ton of sense for everyone, but that should give you, at least I'm hoping by showing you this, it's going to put a little bug in people's ears that you're going to be able to do some of this yourself. Not everything, but some you will be able to. Let's see. Okay. Okay, some people are saying that they're having a hard time hearing. Is everyone having a hard time hearing, or I've only had one
David,
person.
I think you sound pretty good. I've only seen that from one person.
Okay. All right.
So I think in general, I think you're fine.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so one person did ask, Stephen asked, basically, as you visit different pages, the whole page reloads. And that's actually part of HTML. We're not doing... Technically, you could actually, even with HTML, you could leave the header and the navigation and stuff and just refresh the bottom. But in Nimbus, you can't really do that. So the whole page will refresh. And that is kind of sort of part of how HTML works. On a Flash site, because Flash is just one big page with elements that are hidden or become visible or whatever as you click through it, Flash, you can leave elements on the page between pages. With HTML, to do that, you'd actually have a lot of very scary AJAX calls, and ultimately it probably wouldn't even work very well anyways. It would be very hard to maintain. But so, yeah, you will see that flash as it reloads, but that's a pretty standard website look. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So the simple stuff. As I showed you, you can edit CSS, and that's actually pretty simple if you know what you're doing. There is, moving beyond that, though, you could actually get Nimbus to do, if you work with one of the customization partners, whether it's me or somebody else, you'll actually be able to get Nimbus to look like anything you want. Now, I'm going to give you a sneak peek. This is something that I'm not actually showing off until PartnerCon, at least the whole site. And it's not totally done yet. So this is a big sneak peek. This is actually going to be Robert Evans' site that I'm working on a ShootQ on Nimbus. And so everyone knows what Nimbus normally looks like. It's one of these, few themes that you can choose from, Crystallize or Cumulus or, whatever. So here is an example of a home page that's very, very different than anything else out there. So you can see basically we have a full screen slideshow. We have a floating nav bar that's opaque over top of the photo. The different buttons are on the left-hand side. The content's going to be on the right on most pages. We have Rob's logo. Of course, that's not opaque. I'm sorry, transparent. And if we go over to the galleries themselves, again, let me show you what a standard... oops, there we go. So a standard gallery on Nimbus would look something like this. This is the gallery listing page, and if we click on portfolio, you can see it's basically a slideshow. And we can go through this, and we can see the different photos. We can actually click over there. We can see sort of a list of all the different photos. But for Rob's site, we've actually done something different. We've actually created something that looks kind of like Tumblr. And if we sort of resize this, you'll see that it does resize automatically. And if we click on one of these photos, it will open up full screen. So that's a little bit of a sneak peek on this. I'm not going to show you the rest of it, but basically this is the level of customization that we can do. And this again looks completely unique and different than anything else on Nimbus. And this is the type of thing that you're going to be able to have done. So, again, simple stuff you're going to be able to do, and there are going to be more themes that you're going to be able to choose from and purchase or just select as they come online. And then there's also going to be that whole, fully custom stuff that you'll be able to do as well, which is going to make, a big difference. Let me see here. So, let's see. Okay. Give. Sorry, Robert. Robert Evans is actually on the webinar, and he's busy sending funny comments to me as I'm showing off his site. So yeah, this is something we're actually very proud of this. All right. Anyways, enough of the advertising. So essentially, what you're able to do. Okay, so getting back to Nimbus and some of the major roles here of what we can do. With Nimbus, of course, when you first view a site, it will just go, the URL of the site is going to be whatever the name of the site is, photosite.es. Okay. Now, you typically don't want to use the sort of generic URL for your own site. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use your own URL. So in my case, I'm actually using nimbus.wolfsnap.com. Now, you are probably going to use www. Whatever your domain is.com. And it's actually very easy to set this up. So once you enter let me go back. Okay, so we're in Nimbus, settings, DNS. Okay, and you're going to add a new domain. Okay, so in this case, this is what it's going to show up, and in this case, over where it says domains, you're going to enter the domain. So let's say robertevans.com. Okay, and once I hit continue, it's going to add it to our account. Now, I still have to do one other thing. I need to create something called a CNAME. Okay, and what a CNAME is it's on, depending on where you've purchased your domain name, you're going to have to go in there and you're going to have to create, let me see if there's help files. You're essentially going to create, there we go, a new DNS record for CNAME. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to create it as nimbus.shootq.com. Okay? So in GoDaddy, this is what it would look like. So you would go over to the domain manager. You would launch under where it says DNS manager. Okay? And you actually are going to be just below where it says CNAME, you're going to click on where it says quick add. See, everyone see that? And what's going to happen is that it's going to give you two boxes to fill in. The host is www, and it points to nimbus.shootq.com. Now, you need to avoid the temptation to type anything else. Okay, so let's say we wanted to use www.robertevans.com. Okay, if that was what we wanted to use, we're not going to type that. Okay, the host is not www.robertevans.com. It's not robertevans.photosite.es. It's literally these three letters, www. And it points to nimbus.shootq.com. Again, we're not pointing it to your photosite's URL. We're not pointing it to the www.robertevans. We're pointing it directly to there. So, and the reason I'm harping on this is because, I've been doing this a long time, and these changes always throw people for a loop. They try to be too clever. The real reality is, don't be clever. I promise. Type literally as it shows here, and it will work. Okay? And as soon as you've done that, what you're going to end up having is, rather than having this generic site name, you're going to be able to go to www, or in my case again, nimbus.wolfsnap.com, and it will work. Okay, and that makes a difference, because that's the URL that's going to be on your business cards, and that's what you're going to be handing out to clients. You don't want to be handing out, wolf-snap-designs.photosite.es. It doesn't work as well. Okay. So we've covered a fair amount in this webinar. I want to leave time to sort of answer questions that people may have, and okay, here we go. So if you do have any questions, first of all, I want to point out where you'd ask them. So at the very sort of in the center of the GoToWebinar screen, there is something that says questions, and in there you can actually type a question and we'll see it. The second thing that you can do, yeah, and then we're going to try to answer it as best as we can. If there are any questions that we don't know the answer to, obviously we will follow up inside of the forums themselves. So what, and you probably want to go, and Katie can probably correct me. We're doing this on the Pictage forums, I'm assuming.
No, actually, we're going to be doing everything on the ShootQ forums.
Okay.
Because it is, obviously, ShootQ is a product of Pictage, but more importantly, Nimbus is actually a product of ShootQ.
Right.
So we're really trying to keep all the questions and everything that's geared towards Nimbus in ShootQ. So if you have questions, I did send out a global link to everybody, but if you have questions, to put them onto the forums, and then I shared a link that they can actually email directly if they have specific questions to nimbus@shootq.com if you're having trouble. So I did share those links, but that's going to be the best way. We're trying to keep things off of the Pictage forums that are directly or specifically Nimbus questions, just so that we're channeling everything to the right place. So you've got it right there. Yep.
Good. Okay. So basically, again, if you're in ShootQ, the help button's in the top right, and then if you navigate down to Nimbus, you'll see this is where the forums are, and we're going to be following up there. Okay, so a couple of questions. So the final URL is going to be whatever you put. So in my case, I use Nimbus dot, but in your case, you'd probably want to use www dot. So as an example, okay, and let me just be clear. If we go back to DNS and we add the domain, okay. So we go down here, and let's assume that we want Nimbus to be working on www.robertevans.com. Our host name is www. If, on the other hand, you want to be like me and you want to have your site for testing, until you're ready to launch it live, you want it nimbus.wolfsnap.com, then your host name will actually be just the word Nimbus. Okay. But most people are going to be using, it's going to be www.robertevans.com, or whatever yours is. So basically what is to the left of your domain name, that's the host name. Okay, so in this case, www, that's the host name. If Robert wanted to use Nimbus, right, we can see Nimbus is right here. The host name will be Nimbus. The value or the destination will never change. That is always going to be nimbus.shootq.com. Okay, even if this is my really awesome website .robertevans.com, which incidentally will work, the host name will be my really awesome website, and the value is nimbus.shootq.com. Make sense? Good. All right. So, will the branding of Nimbus come to the front end?
While you're reading that, I'm just going to jump in really quick. I've had a couple people that have just asked, what are the first 3 steps to get started, or how can we simply get started? And I did just share a link with everybody to check out. It's a 6-minute Vimeo video that we have created that literally just walks you through the simple steps of getting your account set up. So after everybody's done and you've now seen the overview and you're like, okay, I'm ready to just get started, check out the video that I just shared. I think it will clear up a lot of questions of just how to get started.
Okay. Okay, so a couple of things. For example, one person asked about the logo in Crystallized. So again, if you remember when I showed you changing that about page, you can actually kind of sort of do it yourself, but with that larger photo in Crystallized. Here's the problem, is that even though I showed you a couple of places where we can go, and again, we could go in and edit the CSS for a particular page or for a particular post. We could totally do that for, you know, the home page. The logo could be larger, or the About Us page. The problem is that in the galleries page we can't, because the galleries page doesn't have anywhere for you as the photographer to put any CSS. So unfortunately, things like logo image size, that would be something that you would have to come to a customizer. Now, as luck would have it, I can do that. So if you came to me and said, or actually any Nimbus partner, if you came to them and said, hey, we want to change the logo image size and crystallize, like everything else, just want to change the logo size, that's something that we can actually do for you. Now, typically there would be a cost associated with that, but I think what's probably going to happen, because I'm hearing a lot of people want that different, probably in the next little bit, you know, I'm hoping actually also that, you know, we come up with a way that we can, you know, adjust that kind of on the fly, and it would be in the same basic way where you can adjust the colors and stuff like that on your Nimbus site. So it would be, you know, as an example, we go to color and theme, and in here, obviously we can choose colors and we can choose, you know, the actual image itself. I'm hopeful at some point we're going to have some options that we can actually have that change, the dimensions change as well. So hopefully. Okay. In the meantime, if you absolutely want it done, you could definitely, you know, come to, I mean, definitely you can contact me, and I can let you know cost and stuff, and, you know, we can modify that theme specifically for you. If photos aren't loading for you, if you're having any technical problems with Nimbus, again, it is a 1.0 product, so, you know, there's definitely going to be some, you know, for the most part, I can tell you it works very well, but there's definitely things that, you know, edge cases that where things may not work exactly as you wanted it to work. In that case, you definitely just want to send an email to nimbus@shootq.com, and they can definitely, you know, help you out. Okay. I'm just trying to think. All right.
David, also one other thing as you're reading these over that I was just thinking about, you know, just a reminder for everybody that obviously Nimbus is a great product. It is more of a template product, just as if they're looking for, you know, any website that if somebody were to buy a template or if they were to pay for a custom designer, that's, you know, there's going to be a difference there. And so really you're a custom designer and any of these can be customized, but of course there are also templates that work great for a lot of people that don't need customization. So there's really, you know, I don't want to discourage anybody that feels like they absolutely have to buy or pay for a custom design if, you know, that's not in the budget or whatever. They certainly can use any of the templates that we have and they'll work great. It's just when they want to go that extra step or doing that extra branding, that's where your expertise would be right up their alley.
Right. So, and exactly what Katie said. I mean, this is an example of a really nicely customized crystallized site, and you can see, I mean, it looks really, really nice. And, you know, frankly, when you go through it, it looks nice, it works well, it's very fast, you know, the blogs are nice, you know, if we click through it. And this is something that you can do just right out of the box. Nothing on this site was touched by me. I mean, this was 100% done by, you know, Bill. Okay. So, you know, definitely there's a lot of, you know, and even the way it displays the galleries are actually very, very nice. Okay, and as Katie said, it is a template product, and there are going to be more templates that will come out over time. And the nice thing with it is that changing from one template to another doesn't mean that you have to redo your whole site. Literally, all of the content, all of the links, all of the blog content, all the galleries, the photos, the client information will change over as soon as you change the theme. Okay? So if I had a fully customized crystallized site and I decided I wanted to use Stratus instead, literally my entire effort to change from one to another is to click on Stratus and hit publish. All of my content is going to come over. All the links are going to be the same. We're changing the way it's presented to people, and the way your visitors will view the site. but that's literally as easy as it gets. So, why is this important?
And the templates are free.
Right, these are all free.
Obviously, having a ShootQ account, they're free for everybody, so that's just an added perk.
Right, so what's really cool is if Crystallize is kind of 90% there, and you're hoping that, let's say there's a new theme coming out, whenever, and you think that those new themes might be even cooler, you can totally use Crystallize today, and as soon as those new themes come out, just click on it, hit publish, boom, you're on the new theme, and these are free. So you don't have, and if you decide that now, I like Crystallized better, just click back on Crystallized. So these are things, so ShootQ, Nimbus is going to give you a lot of flexibility, and it's very, very easy to move between the different themes. And obviously, again, each one of these is going to have different options, and you can see, for example, in the Stratus theme, you can see we can set our background image, we can tile it. So if we want, not just a solid color, we want, a picture in the back or a pattern, we can do that. We can add our logos, change the different font colors. So there's typically a lot that you can do very, very easily to make your site, even though it is a template, it's going to look very different than everyone else's template. Okay. All right. Okay, so in Chrome, can you show this? Okay, so let me show you. I'm getting a couple more questions about how do I see the page source. Okay, so let me go over to the About Us page again, because that's actually an easy one to look at. And to see it, basically be on the page and literally just right-click on some of the content. Okay, and we want to choose Inspect Element. And what that's going to do is going to open up our inspector. And as we navigate around, just moving the mouse, if you can see sort of above, you can see different things are being highlighted in blue and orange as I move my mouse. And what's happening is that as I'm hovering over each one of these divs, and a div is, in CSS speak, it's kind of a piece of, it's a box. CSS ultimately are all about boxes. But, it's a divider or a box. So as I move through it, you can see. So this one, for example, div ID main is encompassing most of the content area. If we go back up a little bit more, we can see container is everything. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see content is just my actual content itself. And if we scroll a little bit more, even though it's not visible, you can see the recent posts. That's the thing that we hid. And that's why it's not showing up on the screen, of course. But it's still in the code. The code still exists. So when we're doing it CSS and we're hiding it, over here we can see display recent post display none. We're not actually deleting the code. All that code is still there. And all I have to do is remove, the display none or add display block, and oh, it's back again. Okay. So again, none, it's gone. Pretty much anything else, and it will be there. Okay. Okay.
I saw a good question that came in from Julie. She's asking that she's with LiveBooks now. She doesn't have ShootQ at this moment. Sounds like she's asking if she switches to ShootQ, will she need to get a web host?
No.
Or okay, she says, I own my own website name, but I don't have a host.
Okay, so with ShootQ, like if you switch to ShootQ and Nimbus, what's going to happen is that ShootQ will actually host your website for you, so there's no hosting fees, and you don't have to worry about which host to use or anything. It's literally just a product. So as soon as you sign up with ShootQ, you're going to get Nimbus as part of it, and there's no external hosting required. So if you already have your own domain name, you're golden. All you would do is you would go and just make those changes to the CNAME, and your site would actually be live. Now, you do have LiveBooks, so, and I briefly mentioned this in the past, but let me specifically mention why you care about switching. So LiveBooks is a Flash-based website, and Flash-based websites, while they're very pretty, the problem is that they don't work on iPads and they don't work on iPhones. And even though all these Flash websites say, oh, we have things that will work kind of sort of on an iPad or kind of sort of on an iPhone, the bottom line is your site looks different. Okay, and when you're out and you have an iPad with you and you want to show somebody your work, having a pure HTML site, which is what Nimbus is going to give you a lot more flexibility to be able to pull out your iPad and show people your website and show people your work. Live books may look pretty on a PC or a Mac, but you're losing that huge, enormous market of people that have very expensive mobile devices, iPads, iPhones, and think about it for a moment. Somebody with an iPad that they spent $800 of disposable income on. Okay, this isn't a necessity. This is someone that's willing to spend money on frivolity, something that just is fun to have. That is exactly the type of person that you want as a client for your photography, because those are the types of people that will spend money on photography. So having a website that basically gets rid of people that have money to spend on gadgets is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So,
David, as a follow-up question to that, she was also asking, does Nimbus automatically adjust? And I'm assuming she's a Livebooks user. Livebooks has,
okay,
I think, scaler option now. So she was asking whether or not Nimbus will scale.
Okay, so currently the themes that are out right now are fixed width. Okay, so crystallized is, I think they're all about 1,000 pixels wide. So none of these are going to scale. Hopefully coming themes will. But I can tell you, like the Robert Evans site, this one definitely scales. So as big or small, everything works the way you would expect it to work. So yes, Nimbus will technically do it. No, there's no themes right now that will. So hope that answers it.
Yeah, that does.
Okay. So let's see. Hosting email and slideshows. Okay, so email and files. Okay, so files and your ShootQ are of course all linked in. So if you want to upload a PDF, you can do that inside of Nimbus, and it becomes another asset just like any of your other photos, and you can link to it very easily. So if somebody wants to download a PDF, you can download it, and boom, they have a PDF. Okay. Email. I actually recommend using something called Google Apps, and we actually set that up. But Google Apps, it's basically Gmail for business, okay, and it works really, really well. It's a hosted version of Gmail. But unlike Gmail, where your email address would be davidwolf@gmail.com, it's and I use it myself, you actually use your own domain name. So if your domain name is, I'm going to pick on me, wolfsnap.com, your email would be david@wolfsnap.com. So the Gmail doesn't enter into it. Yeah, Google's hosting it in the same way that ShootQ is hosting your Nimbus site, but if you set it up correctly, you never see the word Nimbus anywhere. You never see the word ShootQ. Your clients will never know that it's a ShootQ or a Nimbus site. Just like no one will ever know that you're using Google Apps. If you're interested in that, you can contact me after, and I can give you more information about the Google Apps. Now, if you already have a website host, depending on the host, most hosts will actually give refunds, frankly. Like if you are on GoDaddy, as an example, and that's where your Blue Domain site is being hosted, once you get your Nimbus site set up the way you're happy with it, you can give GoDaddy a call and say, hey, you know what, I prepaid for a year, there's 6 months left, can I, get the money back? And they will actually refund it.
Prorated.
Yeah, they'll prorate. Yeah, so if there's 6 months left, I mean, they're not going to refund for a partial month, but they'll give you the 5 months that you didn't use back. And that's a long-standing GoDaddy policy. I know DreamHost will do the same thing if you ask them nicely. Some of the hosts I don't know, but those two in particular I know will. And those are the two, most common hosts out there right now.
And we are nearing the end of the webinar, so I think we should finish up with just a couple questions. I think people could probably ask questions all day long, but I did just see another one come in from Robert, and he was asking, so if I upload a PDF, can I make it downloadable to my clients?
Yes. Yes. Rob, yes. You... yeah, and you can upload whatever you want, which is actually pretty cool.
How will that show up? Do you have an example of that? Will it say files as a tab name, or can you?
No, it's actually, as far as I know, and here's the fun part. Even though I've been, eyeball deep in the code, I actually, my understanding of how files works, and you know what? Let's do this really quick. Okay, let me just grab a file. There we go. File. Okay, and done. So I've just uploaded a file, and yeah, there we go. So what's actually going to happen is that it's just a link. So essentially, we can view it or play it, or I can grab the link address, and then in a post, for example, I can add, let's see if I can do it. Okay. So I can add the link. So I can just go, here's my bio. Okay. And then highlight the word bio, click on the little link button over here. That's going to help me create a link. And there's my URL.
Okay.
And there we go. Oops. Yeah. Helps if I do it correctly, but that's that's the basics. Yeah. I'm sure there's an easier way. I just haven't played with that enough, so I apologize.
Okay, and actually, nor have I, so I'm going to be doing that this afternoon. I'd say let's wrap up with this last question here. So,
okay, so actually,
go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to do two really quickly because I can answer them both together. Which is, how do the galleries work, and can I set my Nimbus site up before switching? And the answer is, to the second one, yes, you can set your Nimbus site up before you switch. And then just whenever you're ready to switch, you do that DNS change, you're done. The galleries work actually very, very easily. And again, it would just be going over to Media, Galleries, and we would upload new images or go into an existing gallery. So if I wanted to upload more to this Bonnie gallery, I just click on the gallery, and we can actually go through this, and at the very bottom, there's Add Media. And from there, we can choose which gallery, and then where do I want to pull it from? Do I want to pull it from Flickr or Pictage? Upload it from my computer? Is it Instagram? What is it? And that's it. So very easy. And just before we're done, because we're almost out of time, can you have more than one site? Absolutely, one site per brand.
Excellent. Well, David, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and share this information with everybody. David is also going to be giving a presentation on Nimbus. I think it's a 4-hour presentation. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to do 4 hours of PartnerCon, and that is on the Wednesday at 2 o'clock, I believe. So it's going to go from 2 to 6, and I'm going to have all sorts of really cool stuff there. And we're going to be talking about a lot more than just basic, Nimbus. We have 4 hours, so we're going to be getting into a lot of nitty-gritty stuff. So you definitely, if you're coming to PartnerCon, you definitely want to come. And then the second thing is that if you want to get a hold of me, I am on the Pictage forums. I check out the ShootQ forums. But if you want to see me, if you want to get a hold of me directly, definitely go onto my website, wolfsnap.com/contact, and fill out my form. Let me know that you're looking for Nimbus stuff, and we can chat. But
I'm going to share all of those links that you just gave. I just put up the PartnerCon link, and then I also just shared, I am sharing right now, the link to contact you directly if somebody wants customization.
Cool. And if you do want any more information about Google Apps, just really quickly, I'll show you this. If you go over to, where is it? Of course, I don't remember my own site. Just contact me, post on the boards or something like that. Oh, there we go. Over here, under Services, Email and Domain. That's a little bit more information about Google Apps. So here, this is, there we go. It's in the chat window now. This is actually something I did for Robert Evans years ago, and he loves it. He sings their praises, all the time. But anyways, cool. I don't
Thanks
see any
so
other
much, David.
questions.
We'll look forward to seeing everybody at PartnerCon.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Katie. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. I appreciate it. Thanks.